Hello and welcome to my today's video, in which I am going to tell you why the lore of TXT might be my favorite lore of all of the K-pop teams that I know. And honestly, it only came together for me not very long ago, like this morning. And I kind of uncovered this topic a little bit in one of my previous videos, in the one which is called Why You and I Want to Cry When We Listen to Song of the Stars. And today I just wanted to, since it's already over, like the lore of TXT is already over, I just wanted to give a short retelling of what it means to me personally. And I feel like the lore of TXT, it's kind of like TXT have always been very touching for me and have always been very intense for me to perceive. Because the songs and the experience, the topics which have been uncovered, they are very, very human and very vulnerable and very, open and very, I think it's something that caught me in TXT from the very beginning. Because for me, TXT started from songs, from music. For a very long time, I listened to TXT without knowing anything about them at all. And I feel like the lore of TXT, it kind of opens up very beautifully because it starts as a story about coming of age, about getting older, getting more mature, and about how people basically lose this innocence when facing certain challenges connected with other people mostly, challenges connected with the reality of the world, challenges which are connected with their own or our own limitations, and so on and so on. So it kind of opens up as a very vulnerable retelling of what every person goes through when they face the life honestly and vulnerably. But then it kind of unfolds into something pretty different in the last chapter specifically. And the topics of destiny, actually, you can follow through them. What's this sound? The ambulance, I'm sorry. So you can follow through these topics of destiny already in the previous chapters, but this last chapter, the chapter together, it's very heavy on this theme of destiny and of how people play the roles in each other's lives. For example, Beautiful Strangers for me is like this illusion for the perfect strangers, the people who we don't know each other, but we play the role in each other's lives, and it feels like it was meant to happen this way. For me, Beautiful Strangers is about that. And in Korean language there is a word, inyon, which I cannot translate into English, and I cannot translate into my native language either, because we do not have such concept in our languages, and we do not have such concept in our cultures. But in Korean there is this word which means destiny connected to two people meeting. And it's not just, we often speak about the destiny in lovers or the destiny in friends, like it was meant to be. But inyon means that every single connection, every single exchange that we have with another person, even if we just, walking past each other and our sleeves brush, it's also inyon. It's also orchestrated. It's also something that is meant to happen. And in the Song of the Stars, it kind of is explained even more precisely that before we come here, before we come to Earth, we make a promise to each other to play certain role in each other's lives. And all these challenges that we go through, they are actually most of the challenges, if you try to remember the most difficult, the most challenging moments in your life, they are always connected with people, with either presence of certain people or absence of certain people, but absence is also the influence in a way. And Song of the Stars, it kind of explains that before we come here, before we embody, we make this promise to each other to play certain role in each other's lives. And very often, I've been working with myself, and I've been working with people for a very long time, and I have this wicked sensitivity, which I keep on developing actually, apparently because I don't know how to explain it, how to call myself. This is how I feel about TXT, by the way. I'm always on the verge of crying when I speak about Tomorrow by Together. What is that? Why is that like that? But what I'm trying to say is that when I work with myself and when I work with other people, I notice that the more important certain person is, the more challenging the experience around them is. It's very seldom that, people come together and they feel good together, but they also feel that they were meant, that there is this soul level charge between them. Because when there is soul level charge, it's always some kind of a very challenging, very complex, very subtle experience. At least it's so in my experience, probably because I also have this inclination towards, human connections in my destiny. I am supposed to, uncover it, to study it, to explore it. But what I'm trying to say is that the lore of Tomorrow by Together, which kind of starts as just maturing, ends in this beautiful wisdom of acceptance of the fact that every person that comes to our lives is there to help us reflect on ourselves, to help us understand something about ourselves and to become more of ourselves. I'm speaking about it in that another video. I will link it right here in more detail. But basically, the whole lore of TXT is so beautiful for me because it is kind of like maturing / losing innocence, to go through all of the challenges, to come back to acceptance of the reality as it is, how painful it is sometimes, but also how beautiful it is, how intense it is, how various it is, how, what is this word? The diverse, how diverse it is, to only come back to, again, innocence, but on a different level, to the innocence of perceiving the reality as the play which is being set up by the souls when we made the promise to each other under the stars. And we do it all for love. We do it all for light. I feel like that. I really feel like that in my life. And it's very different. When you are a child, there is this innocence, but there is always this naiveness. Not the very little child, but the child that has already, forgotten a lot of things from before life. But when you are a child, you have this, everybody tells you about how world is, and it all appears to be wrong. Because you go around and you get your bruises and you get your wounds and you get your experiences which are very hard to handle, especially when you're sensitive like me. And when you walk around and you get slapped on the face metaphorically, I've never been slapped on my face yet. But yeah, you walk around and you get all of this experience and you realize that life is not that easy and life is not that light and life is not that, like that. But if you continue walking this path honestly, with all of the senses, with all of the experiences, with all of the truth that comes your way, in the end, you come back to the feeling that life is actually very clear. That it's clearly the setup for the evolution of the soul through human experience, which is, it's very easy to understand. It's very easy to perceive. It's very hard to go through it. And especially if there are, the more charged the energy between the souls is, the more difficult the experience is with them. At least it's like that in my life. And even though it is really hard to go through it, it's still very easy to understand. It's still very easy to perceive it as some game. And it is the innocence that returns after all of the challenges. And this, I feel like, is this is how I perceive the Lord of Tomorrow by Together. And that's why I love it so much. And that's why it hurts me so much. And that's why it's so important for me. And I would love to hear from you in the comments about how you perceive the Lord of TXT. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? What is your opinion? What is your ideas? And so on. So you are more than welcome to go in the comments and share it with me. I will most probably reply to all the comments. So I will be happy to have this conversation with you about this topic, which is very, for me, it is one of the most beautiful and one of my favorite topics of everything that I have ever explored in this life. The theme of human relationships, the theme of, yin-yang, the theme of the promise that we made to each other. So maybe we made a promise with you to discuss something. So if you feel like writing something, write it in the comments and I will reply. Thank you for watching. It got easier for me by the end of the video. Thanks God. So I'm very happy that I made it. Yeah, thank you for watching. See you next time.